Welcome to the Crypt of
I'll
Wax.
do the
Today
intro,
we
John.
are
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
oh,
Wah.
fade. Welcome to the Crypt of Wax.
It was
Today
like
we are talking.
you wouldn't even notice it wasn't there. It was that. It was
No,
that
you wouldn't.
faithful.
So we've had technical difficulties galore today. So bear with us if anything goes wrong. Today, for the 8th time, we are talking Runeblade Unsheathed. Now, last episode we covered Astral Gauze, two-man sci-fi black metal project. This is the same core members, same two dudes, but they've swapped what they're doing, haven't they,
They
Mike?
flipped it. They flipped it. So on Astral Gauze, it was the guy who's in Ebony Pendant was drums, and he might have done something else like synth as well. I don't know. I can't remember. But and then a guy called Krieger was doing guitar and vocals. And this time round, it's the other way. He's doing drums, Krieger, and the guy from Ebony Pendant's doing guitar and vocals.
Swapped it around, and very different sounding bands, aren't they? So obviously we Astral Gaze was the kind of sci-fi black metal, very atmospheric. Go watch our video that we've reviewed on that after this as well, because it was a good one. But this is a lot more. It's a lot riffier, isn't it? It's a lot more guitar driven.
It's straight up riffage, isn't it? It's filled with riffs.
It's filled to the brim, teething.
Yeah,
It's very heavy metal influenced, a lot more metallic, isn't it? Than Astral Gauze was as well.
yeah, man. I mean, what's cool about this is because of the switch around, you've got like the two guys in the same band, and you would have no idea it's the same two people. And
No,
you've got
it's
this like
completely different.
what I love is you've got. I'm assuming this anyway that on Astral Gauze you've got the Krieger, who's probably the chief songwriter. He's kind of leading the songwriting because he's the main riff writer, I'm assuming. And then on this project here, you've got, I think it's called SC. He's referred to on drums and on guitar and vocals. So he's now probably pushing the songwriting further. So they just sound like a completely different band.
Yeah, they do. So SC was also Ebony Pendant. Am I right in thinking
He was
that?
Ebony Pendant. I mean, they've both been in a multitude of bands, but they're the sort of main ones.
Yeah, and I think the vocals do sound a lot more like the Ebony Pendant, if I remember correctly, on
Almost the
this
same guy.
version. Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. Whereas, Astral Cause was different. So I guess let's get into it rather than just kind of talking about past videos. This quite not a long album, is it? But it just packs a punch, man. It like as soon as you hit play, you've got this kind of sword sounding FX of like obviously a sword being like unsheathed, and it sort of sets the tone, doesn't it, for like almost, I don't want to say battle, but like the first riff comes straight in and it's immediately like, okay, this is going to be like an interesting guitar driven type of black metal.
Absolutely. And I'd argue as well, John, it's probably an EP, I'd say, more than an album, but each to their own.
Let us know. Fight that one out in the comments. I'd call this a mini album personally. I think EP is maybe a bit shorter, but I mean, we'll just call it an album for the sake of this show. It sets it up, doesn't it, for like what is to come. I don't think it sells you any false pretenses, does it? It's like, okay, here's a sick riff, and then the riffs keep on coming, man.
They just keep coming. They just keep on coming, baby. It's just one after the other. And I had a great time listening to it, man. It's different to Astral Gauze, and I know you shouldn't really compare, but it's quite easy to because it's the same two members, and we only did that album like the other day as well, so it's quite fresh in my mind still. But this was great fun, man. I had this thing of listening to it, and it just made me want to play guitar. It made me want to just write those riffs because they're such not only good riffs, but they sound the sort of riffs that sound incredibly fun to play from a guitar playing standpoint.
Yeah, they're really interesting riffs as well. They're not your typical black metal riff. It's very heavy metal influence, a lot of thrash influence as well. Like a lot more metallic than your standard black metal riffs, which are really cool. I also want to say that there's also a bit of, dare I say, Pantera-esque groove, especially in the first track. There
Oh,
was a kind of chuggy section around 1 minute 50, and the groove of it was that almost like a when Pantera do go a little bit chuggier.
I didn't get that. I was actually thinking more the chugginess was maybe a little bit more hardcore influenced than
Yeah, there
Pantera.
is that as well. We sort of did pick up on that as well, didn't we, with Astral Gauze, that there's that hardcore
Yeah,
influence. Um,
but they I think what keeps it in this sort of black metal realm is probably, you've got a lot of blasts in there as well. And you've got a lot of the kind of harmony kind of parts, those sort of black metal harmonies that you get in that kind of modern US black metal, but also because the production's so raw as well. I think it helps keep it in that sort of sphere.
yeah,
Um, and it's got I don't know. I was listening to this, and the same with Astral Gauze. I was thinking they must do this must be partly live recorded. Like they must do the drums with a guitar. You know what I mean? And then layer it because it's got that energy.
it does have that energy. It'd be interesting to know if anyone knows kind of like the recording process. That'd be good to know. Let us know. It does have that feel, but they are just a two-piece. So yeah, maybe just drums and guitar
I reckon
is
they
all they
do
need
that,
for
then
that.
then they layer up and things like that afterwards.
Very possibly, very possibly. I guess, did you have a standout song, Mike? Let's kind of get back to the actual song, the meat and potatoes of this record.
Yes. Do you know what? And it felt it felt like there was a lot of meat and potatoes to this record. Um, I would I'd probably it's between for me it's probably between track 3 and 5 are
Hmm.
my favorites on there. I really track 3 probably had my favorite riff on it. I think it was like they had the main riff, which was really, really cool. And then the section that they went to afterwards, where it was a really good riff, where it was like kind of a bit chuggy, but then they would then go into like a blast beat with like a sort of harmonized riff, and then go back between them, and it was maybe a bit thrashy as well.
Yeah.
And it's just a sort of riff that I just have a great time listening to. Could hear over and over.
There was a moment on that track where they sort of, it was just the guitars doing the carrying the riff forward, but they had an organ come in for like a short little bit
Yeah,
to like break it up. But I loved that, and then they sort of didn't bring the organ back again, which I was a bit not upset about, but I could have heard more of it, to be honest, because it just added a nice old school like occult feel to the heavy metal kind of riff that was going on.
yeah.
Um,
I feel like we got a bit of that with Astral Gauze as well. Like they're quite sparing with simps in general.
yeah,
And I wonder whether a lot of it's quite low in the mix. Like it's more just layering, and you're not really supposed to hear it individually as much as it's probably there more than you think. But I think a lot of it sits in the background.
yeah, potentially,
Maybe not so
potentially.
much on this, but maybe more the Astral Gauze album.
Potentially, yeah, I think so. And then you said track 5, Electric Armor. Again, I agree. I think that was my second favorite song. Those two songs were probably the least quote black metal. They kind of
Mm.
had aspects of it thrown in, but they were a lot more like metallic and riffy and like heavy metal guitar driven. But they were really cool. There was a really cool riff in that last song. It was around 2 minutes 40. They were kind of like scaling up the guitar. It was quite like it was a really just interesting riff, and I think like this album was just full of that kind of thing, just interesting.
Well, there was some really, really good lead lines on this as well. Some good solos
There
in
were
there
good
too.
solos,
Um,
yeah.
and I just think the production overall, the whole thing just wrapped it up in this kind of like cool little package. You know, it wasn't. When you hear like kind of modern heavy metal bands, you can have that thing of them going down maybe to a very produced.
Far too produced, yeah.
Yeah, whereas this is like just absolute rawness, and when you've got that black metal influence, blast beats and stuff going off, you've got those fast thrash parts in there as well. It's a really good, just sort of melting pot of styles.
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed it. you said earlier that we shouldn't really compare the two. However, because this is almost like a double bill of SC and
That, and I
Krieger,
keep
like
bringing them up for some reason as well.
yeah, well, listen, they both came out on the same day. It's the same two dudes. I think it's only fair to say, like, do we have a favorite here? Do we? Because like this week, I guess on CryptoVax has been dedicated to these two. So
Yeah.
why not look at it from a broader picture and say, do you have a favorite?
I actually, do you know what? And I don't know whether it's just the sort of freshness of hearing this one last, but I might go with Runeblade. Like I feel like Astral Gauze is maybe a better overall release in the sense that I think what they're trying to set out to do is maybe a bit more grander in the sense of like they're trying to do this kind of sci-fi black metal. I'm assuming there's probably a concept in there as well that sort of ties in with the artwork. That they really nailed all of those things. Whereas this is maybe, and we're obviously arguing here whether it's an EP, an album, or whatever. But this to me feels more like a shorter release. That's kind of it's just different. Do you know what I mean? I
It
find them
is.
very different.
They are very different, but I mean, the question was to pick one. So you
Runeblade.
picked Runeblade. I'm going to go the other way and say Astral Gauze. I think, like you said, it was probably the better overall package.
Mm,
There was kind of like a clearer concept. I think the sound sort of carried through with that, and it's probably a bit more to my taste. That kind of atmospheric synthy, like I love a sci-fi synth cosmic
mm.
sound. So you put that in with black metal, and I'm sold. But that's not to say that this wasn't like really really good as well. And I'm excited to see what these two bands or these two dudes will do next, because they both records have actually been really really good, even though they're both very very different.
Well, from looking at the Metallum, this seems to be the first two projects they've worked on together, I think.
Really.
So that it'll be in. So it seems like this is maybe like quite a new collaboration, and they've obviously done two bands out of it as well. So it'd be really cool to see where they go from here, because
Inter-
I think they've obviously got a really good connection musically with it within this stuff.
it's interesting, isn't it, that they had these two projects and they would release it on the same day. Like I wonder how long the writing process was for all of this.
I don't know, man. I mean, it might not have been that long because if you're splitting it up like that, it might be that you've got one of them when he's more on guitar duties in one project, he's doing all the writing for
Yeah,
that,
true.
and the other one's doing the other stuff at the same time, and then they're just jamming it out, and you could have them running together. It's an
Quite
interesting rehearsal, isn't it?
yeah, that's actually quite clever in a way, like to get to
Yeah.
double the
Can we
mileage
do
out
one of
of
mine now?
yeah. Yeah, we just did one of yours, fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're left-handed. It's hard for me to switch to the pick round.
Listen, if you checked out both of these records, Astral Gauze and Runeblade, let us know, boom boom, down below, if you had a favorite of the two, or if you're just excited that this much good black metal is coming out from these two guys. And yeah, if you did get to this point in the video, give us a like and a subscribe. We put out videos every Wednesday and Friday covering the latest metal releases. But I guess before we go, Mike, any more to say on this record?
No.
No. All right, listen, we will catch you in the